YouTube family, I'm going to talk about something today regarding Shedeur Sanders' debut. It came unexpectedly, but we're going to talk about it. I think it was a fake injury by Dylan Gabriel because, well, he was getting booed all game.
The way he throws the football, part of the issue is the majority of the passes are less than 10 yards. So
wide receivers aren't involved very much. The ball's not.
They wanted Shedeur in there.
rookie running back.
So you got to witness it. You got to see it. They wanted Shedeur in that game. Dylan Gabriel all of a sudden meets the concussions protocol of the NFL. We're going to break this down to a T, and I'm going to show you how Coach Kevin Stefanski failed Shedeur Sanders for this game. We just did a video a day ago telling you we don't want to see Shedeur Sanders playing in the Browns game versus the Ravens or any other games throughout the rest of the season. And what you witnessed in Shedeur was good and bad. Towards the end of the game, we got to see who legendary is. He had a chance to win the game. His wide receivers dropped the ball. Jerry Jeudy dropped a crucial pass. Then Shedeur Sanders threw it in the end zones to Laverdian, or whatever the dude's name is, number 84. He drops the ball. We're going to get to it.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Think it's best I put my
So YouTube family, over and over again, we are subjugated and subject to receiving the news of who the Browns really are. So let's talk about what really happened with Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens game. It was one of those games that was a roller coaster. It was up and down. But because what we witnessed on that field wasn't just football, it's bigger than football. It's deeper than football. It was the result of an organization from top to bottom failing a young quarterback before he even touched the turf. And I'm going to break down exactly how Kevin Stefanski set up Shedeur Sanders to fail long before Sunday's matchup. Early this week, Coach Kevin Stefanski admitted to something I think any of us could believe at first. He never gave Shedeur any first-team reps, not in camp, not in preseason, not in regular season preparations. This is unheard of in the NFL. Backup quarterbacks, especially highly drafted or regular drafted quarterbacks who come in with a cachet like Shedeur. So although Shedeur was not one of those highly quarterbacks, we know who he is. We know what he got to bring. So always gets at least a minimum work with the starters. We've even heard legendary stories about, and I'm about to do a separate video on certain practice squad quarterbacks who got a chance to throw first team reps with the first stringers. But as always, it's some games and gimmicks that come with the handling of Shedeur Sanders. Listen to me, guys. Even if they aren't expected to play, guys like Shedeur, they didn't expect him to play this year at all. Teams still prepare them because this is a league that's violent, it's unpredictable, and any play can force the backup into action. Unnecessary action, but into action. But for Shedeur Sanders, Stefanski, well, he voluntarily kept him unprepared. We've witnessed this. And if you don't believe me, let's read some of the things Kevin had to say about this, because you're going to negate that part. Right here, when Daniel, one of the journalists, reached out to Kevin, Browns coach said nothing has changed regarding Shedeur Sanders' practice reps. Not getting snaps with the starting unit as backup quarterback, but praised the work. I'm not about to read the rest of that crap. You guys can. That's a coach acknowledging that, look, guys, I've never given Shedeur Sanders first team reps, and we're going to keep it that way, but he is a hard worker. Talk about a slap in the face. He works hard, but yet you won't allow him to practice with the first team. You know you got a redundant quarterback like Dylan Gabriel, and you don't give your second stringer any preparations with the first team. Like I said, guys, I've never seen this before on any level. But for Shedeur Stefanski, he volunteers this information because there's not going to be a backlash. It's Shedeur Sanders. Most of these people who are not like us, not for us, not by us, they don't like us. So to them, it's perfectly understandable for Coach Stefanski not to give the young quarterback any reps. In fact, all you've seen during the game was people criticizing and critique Shedeur Sanders' performance. I seen an up and down performance that was normal and typical with a quarterback who's been thrown into the fire, who's never got any reps. Never play all those guys on the field. Shedeur has never gotten any chance to play with them. Never, not one time since being drafted by this organization. But all the people who hate Shedeur Sanders, they expected a Tom Brady performance minus Drew Bledsoe. But one thing about that performance, when Drew Bledsoe went down and got injured, Tom Brady was well prepared to be put into game action. Thus, the reason they allowed him to become the starter throughout the rest of the year, even after Drew Bledsoe got better, because they understood this guy is prepared and ready. But the racists and the haters, they're going to blame Shedeur Sanders. None of these guys watch football. They don't follow football. These are zesty sore boys who pretend to follow the game of football only to furthermore their hatred towards Shedeur Sanders or anybody that looked like Shedeur, if I might have added. Now, the moment of truth, guys. Yes, the moment of truth. The only reason Shedeur Sanders even touched the field this week was because Daniel the Warrior Jones, which is really Dylan Gabriel. I know you guys are going to catch the flip I just did. Dylan Gabriel went down with a concussion, and that's the evaluation they're going with. This wasn't strategy. This wasn't development. This wasn't a situation where we needed to see growth. What Coach Kevin Stefanski did was called desperation. You're not going to hear it from anywhere else. And look at the body language. Stefanski didn't look excited. He didn't look ready. He looked annoyed. Like playing Shedeur was inconvenience instead of his responsibility. Imagine being a young quarterback told you're the future of the franchise, but when your moment comes, the coach reacts like he's being forced into something he never wanted in the first place. That tells Shedeur loud and clear that the trust is not there, and it was never there if you let Bless One decide that. Now, how can a quarterback succeed with no preparations? But you're going to hear all the racists and haters come with all their own conclusion. And they're saying this to real football aficionados like me and you guys, my supporters. We all watch football and follow it, but these racists and people are going to try to make us believe that Shedeur is garbage and we can evaluate a quarterback based on all the things I just broke down. We can actually do a fair evaluation with what we just witnessed late in the game with Shedeur being inserted. That's the level of hate they have for us. Now, let's be real. How can a quarterback prepare and succeed without even preparing? I've never seen this before. Would you let someone with no CDL license drive a truck on the freeway, on the highway with your loved ones on that very same road? No, you wouldn't. But for somehow you expected Shedeur to be Superman soon as he got in, right? Right? Look. If you give a quarterback 0 first-team reps, how can you expect timing, rhythm, communication, and protection to be there? How? Shedeur was throwing to receivers he barely practiced with, actually never practiced with. Behind an offensive line that doesn't know his cadence, they don't know his rhythm, how he moves around in that pocket. Yes, you need to know how your quarterback moves when you're an offensive lineman, when you're a wide receiver, when you're a running back in that backfield. I mean, who don't know this already? Why do I even need to explain this? And that leads me further to believe 60% of people who pretend to watch football don't watch it and don't understand football. This is why you guys are infuriated with anger towards guys like me and Shedeur. I understand it. You watch race. You don't watch football. And I call it out, so you get mad at me, but you never debunk me, because the Bible told us and taught us, shout out to all the scriptures, it taught us the truth cuts like a sword. Does it not? Does it not bend? Does it not make the weak ones fold like you guys? But like I said, this wasn't a football situation. It was a setup. Unintentional or intentional, the results is the same. No quarterbacks in NFL history has been developed this way ever. Not Mahomes, not Lamar, not Joe Burrow, not even late round quarterbacks who are backups in the 7th round. No, not even practice squad quarterbacks. But Shedeur, he gets thrown and thrust in cold and is think about it. He gets thrown in cold and is expected to save a situation that the coach himself refused to prepare Shedeur for, a game that was out of the hands of Dillon Gabriel soon as the whistle was blown. Let's not negate that part. There was a fumble and a pick six. Basically, the Cleveland Browns defense scored more points. Dillon Gabriel didn't score anything. He had 6 red zones appearances and only had 6 yards totaled and allocated through those 6 red zones appearances he had in this game. 68 yards in the first half. I think they faked the injury to save Dillon Gabriel. My personal opinion. Why this is bigger than one game? People will look at that stat line. People will judge the interception by Shedeur Sanders. People will forget the context. This is why I didn't want Shedeur in the game. But you can't develop a quarterback this way. You can't build a future franchise star while refusing to give him reps, refusing to give him the basic tools and necessities that every other rookie receives. And you definitely can't blame Shedeur Sanders for this loss when the organization never gave him a fair chance to succeed. This isn't about Shedeur Sanders not being ready. It's about a coach who refused to get him ready. It's not about Shedeur not being ready. It's about Coach Kevin Stefanski and the weak token general manager Andrew Berry and the failed ownership of Jimmy Haslam not allowing Shedeur to be ready. That should be the Monday Morning Quarterback's full conversation and discussion tomorrow. Not Shedeur was not ready because he's not a good quarterback. He wasn't ready because, well, they didn't allow him to get ready. We need to talk about that. That should be the narrative. Stefanski has shown more urgency protecting Dillon Gabriel, a struggling quarterback, than developing Shedeur Sanders, who represents the future. Soon as Shedeur Sanders got in there, you seen the downfield passes. Shedeur Sanders can't be blamed for guys not willing to catch the ball, especially when the game counted. As much as you can criticize Shedeur for the interception, because he should have been accountable for it. What about towards the end of the game where they had a chance to tie the game? We're not going to get into that context because it's Shedeur Sanders. He's not given that excuse like other quarterbacks like Dillon Gabriel are being given. Shedeur Sanders represent that future. And if we're being honest, his frustration when Shedeur entered the game said everything. You can see Coach Kevin Stefanski was not happy. This wasn't leadership. This was avoidance. You can place your final decision on this game, but that furthermore exposed you as not a football aficionado, not even a football supporter. You're not. You're a race hustler. At the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders didn't fail the Browns. The Browns failed Shedeur. As I've been telling you guys for years, all the guys, well, not years, but my bad, it feels like years, don't it? But for months since they drafted him. And it does feel like years if we're being honest. It feels like years. I just never seen a quarterback get treated like this. And Kevin Stefanski admitted, I showed you proof. He admitted he never prepared Shedeur. He never prepared him. He never gave him the reps. He never treated him like a quarterback who might actually need to step on the field. He gave Zach Bailey more reps. And when the moment finally came, instead of standing there proudly behind his young quarterback, he acted bothered that he didn't, that he didn't have to realize he actually has to play Shedeur. It upsetted Coach Kevin Stefanski. That's not development. That's not coaching. And that's not how you build the future of your so-called franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Bless One, the best one. Love your family, love your kids, and stay blessed.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say